Clemson University for ACC basketball on a Tuesday night. The Pitt Panthers at 12-8 and 2-5 in conference play come calling on the Clemson Tigers at 11-8 and 1-5 in conference play. Your starting lineups first for the Pitt Panthers. They will be without one of their key starters, freshman Audice Toney, out with a hand injury. He's the team's leading rebounder, so it's Xavier Johnson and Trey McGowan's in the backcourt. Malik Ellison, Jared Wilson-Frame, and Terrell Brown rounding out the first five. And for the Clemson Tigers, they are led by one of the top scorers in the ACC, Marquise Reed. He's joined in the backcourt by Shelton Mitchell, David Scarra, Amir Sims, and Elijah Thomas in the front court. I'm Rich Hollenberg alongside Deb Antonelli. Your officials tonight are Brian Dorsey, Tony Henderson, and James Breeding. Both teams coming in struggling in conference play. Pitt has lost 3 straight and 4 of their last 5. Clemson has lost 5 of 6 games in league play, including a heartbreaker on the road this past Saturday in Raleigh against NC State. The opening tip is up, and possession goes to the Clemson Tigers in their home whites. Deb, what does Clemson like to do offensively?
Well, they're very good at moving the basketball, switching sides of the floor. They've got multiple weapons that they can hurt you with. And Elijah Thomas gets a double team right away. They want to turn him into a passer.
Shelton Mitchell hits the first 3 of the game, and that's a good sign for a Clemson Tigers team that's shooting just 30% from beyond the arc.
And in particular, Sheldon Mitchell, who was 2 for 19 in ACC play outside the arc. Now, Pitt's a team in the last 3 games, Rich, has averaged 59 points. They've struggled to score, so they've got to find easy scoring opportunities off their defense. And when the game slows down, they've got to execute.
Speaking of defense, 24 in white, David Scarra made that block on the defensive end. And there's another 3. The Clemson Tigers start out hot. That's Marquise Reed, 4th in the ACC in scoring with his first bucket.
They only make 6 a game. They've made 2 in their first 2 possessions.
And that's going to be a foul on Scarra. There's Jeff Capel in his first season as the Panthers head coach. 7 years he spent at the side of Mike Krzyzewski, the Hall of Famer, at Duke, but he was also a head coach at VCU and Oklahoma, going to 3 NCAA tournaments, and he's already in 1 season has this program, the Pitt Panthers, trending in the right direction.
Yeah, he's going to get it going. I mean, Jason, his brother, along with Jeff, have done a terrific job with that staff and changing the culture and getting this team to be competitive every night.
Nice save by Jared Wilson-Frame.
And that foul,
now
Rich,
2 on the shot clock. McGowan's got it off, but it's short.
That foul was on Elijah Thomas, so he has to sit down. That was a cheap one he picked on a ball screen defending.
Reed off the mark, and here come the Panthers. Nice look inside. Terrell Brown met at the rim. Loose ball picked up by Pitt. Wilson-Frame off the mark. He's the best 3-point shooter for this Panthers team that doesn't shoot a lot and doesn't shoot it well from beyond the arc.
Well, their freshman backcourt is very good off the bounce.
Scarra fouled from behind by the big man Brown. Brad Brownell in his 9th season at Clemson, 17th overall as a head coach. He is number 3 all-time in wins at Clemson, recently passing Oliver Purnell, and he's 17 wins shy of one of the coaching legends in this part of the country, Cliff Ellis. And the Brownell family is in attendance. Bob on the left, Brad's dad, and a longtime high school coach up in the Evansville, Indiana area. Can you imagine being a high school basketball coach in the Hoosier State?
How much fun is that? However, he didn't coach his son. He said he would have been a much better coach if he had Brad on his team.
There's Scarra trying to follow Trey McGowan's. McGowan's gets it to go with a left hand, and that's a storyline we'll be following all night. Grew up in Pendleton, South Carolina, about 15 minutes from the Clemson campus.
If it's in relationship between Clemson and the interstate is how I would describe where Pendleton is.
Took a visit here to Clemson, but when he reclassified to become eligible to play college ball this past season, he saw an opening at Pitt where he could start and play a lot of minutes. That's exactly what he's doing for Jeff Capel. McGowan's averaging over 13 points, 3 rebounds, and leads the ACC with 2.2 steals a game.
He's already had 2 30-point games in his young career, and he combines with Xavier Johnson in the backcourt. They almost average 31 points together, which is almost half of what Pitt scores on the offensive ends.
There's an open look by Johnson. And on cue, Xavier Johnson, the 9th leading scorer in the ACC, has his first points of the night. Nice leave, and there's Jeevan White.
Nice pick and roll, good activity on the weak side to keep the weak side defense occupied.
An early 10-5 Clemson lead coming up on 4 minutes gone by in the first half. Only a third of the way through the league schedule, Deb, but you get the sense that this is a desperation / must-win kind of a game for both programs.
It's been a challenging beginning to conference play for both these clubs. They've had to play the toughest part of their schedule, so there's a lot of wins that are left for both Coach Capel and Coach Brownell. And, of course, this is a big one right here.
As a matter of fact, if you follow KenPom.com, just earlier today it was posted that these two programs had the toughest conference schedule so far in the country. 1 and 2, respectively, Clemson and Pitt. Ten on the shot clock.
Really good job defending Marquise Reed.
Here's Amir Sims. His first look is good.
What a play by David Scarra to get to the middle of Pitt's defense and find the corner triple.
And Deb, who is this Clemson team? 3 triples already in the first half. The Tigers team last in the conference in 3-point percentage, already has 3 tonight. Here's McGowan's for 2, no.
Again, David Scarra doing a great job on that step-up screen. Getting a hand in McGowan's face.
Here's Scarra on the motion.
I'm telling you what, David Scarra is not going to be on the top of the scouting report for Clemson, but he is going to make winning plays for Brad Brownell.
Clemson off to a hot start with 15:04 left. They're up 10 on Pitt. Mobile, you're watching the ACC on ESPN. The last time Clemson played, it was on the road in Raleigh against NC State, and with time running down, this happened.
Makes it. It's a 2-point game. Misses again. The rebound comes out to Bryce. A chance for NC State to win it. Beverly for the win. Got it! Unbelievable!
Well, Clemson's Marquise Reed despondent after that Braxton Beverly game-winning 3. Reed missed 4 free throws in crunch time in that game. The loss dropped Clemson to 1-5 in league play. And from inside Littlejohn Coliseum, alongside Debbie Antonelli, I'm Rich Hollenberg. So, Debbie, with that as the prelude to tonight's game, how does Marquise Reed and how does Clemson recover from that?
Yeah, that's the big question, right? I mean, early on, Marquise already has a triple in this game, but he's typically a very mild-mannered guy. Brad Brownell would describe him as a guy that plays the same whether he's playing under the bright lights or he's playing at the YMCA. He's just a guy that loves to play. He was distraught after the missed free throws and then the game winner by Braxton Beverly for NC State. But Marquise is off to a good start here tonight for Clemson, so that's a good sign for him to rebound.
A 15-5 lead, already 3 triples for a Clemson team that is last in the ACC in 3-point percentage. That's an offensive foul, and that's going to go on Trey McGowan's, the freshman guard for Pitt, who is a Pendleton, South Carolina native, playing in front of about 40 or 50 of his family and friends tonight.
Clemson's defense playing very connected. This is the second charge that they've been able to draw. It's a terrific job of stepping in on McGowens, who over-penetrates. This is not a shot-blocking team for Clemson without Elijah Thomas on the floor, who picked up an early foul on ball screen defense.
Wilson Frame kicks it out. We have another offensive foul. This time, Javen White gets the call. And Deb, both of these teams struggle to score the basketball. Their DNA is mostly win with defense.
Both these coaches are terrific at scheming on the defensive end, and what a terrific job drawing 3 charges early for Brad Brownell's defense. But for Pitt, the last 3 games, they've only averaged 59 points. They have to find easy scoring opportunities off of dead ball situations. They've got to get on the glass. They've got to be able to take care of the basketball.
Here's Reed. He's got one of the 3 threes.
So Pitt switches to a zone for the first time.
Clemson's been seeing a lot of zone this season already. Good offensive rebound, and they're getting great quality minutes early on from the grad senior, Javen White.
And without Audice Toney on the floor for Pitt, the 6'6 freshman who leads them in rebounding, they're going to struggle to rebound on the defensive end against the size of Clemson up front.
That ball goes out of bounds. It's going to stay Pitt basketball. You mentioned Audice Toney. He's the leading rebounder on this team, and outside of Xavier Johnson and Trey McGowens, who get the lion's share of the attention as outstanding freshmen for Jeff Capel, Audice Toney's a big piece to the present and the future of this program. Hurt his right hand on Sunday in practice. Nothing positive on the x-ray, so that's good news. He's day-to-day for Pitt.
He tried to give it a go and shoot around today, but he just couldn't catch the ball. They decided not to play him. And that affects everyone's rotation. It affects their depth. It affects certainly their size on the glass.
Malik Ellison called for the travel. That's the 4th Pitt turnover tonight.
A little extended pressure right here by Pitt, falling back into their zone. Clemson did a really nice job, Rich, of getting the ball in the short corner last possession.
Here's Clyde Trapp, 0 and White. Deep 3 for Mitchell. And Shelton Mitchell's got his 2nd 3 of the night.
We mentioned coming into the game in ACC play, he was 2 for 19 in league play outside the arc. He's got 2 triples early.
A 12-0 Clemson run has staked them to a 20-5 lead. Under 13 to go in the first half.
Xavier Johnson, number 1 with the basketball. He can't turn it over like that and allow Clemson to run off those miscues.
Here's White again. And a timeout called by Jeff Capel. The Pitt Panthers want to talk it over, and they're celebrating on the sidelines with the Clemson Tigers. An offensive explosion in the first 8 minutes in Littlejohn.
Clemson with a 22-5 early lead in the first half. And we take a look at off their defense. Sheldon Mitchell doing a great job getting the ball in the middle of the floor, and look at how White gets to the rim. Great finish inside. Clemson has drawn 3 charges. They've been running the floor. They've rebounded well. It's allowed them to get off to a great start, shooting the 3 as well.
And you mentioned Elijah Thomas on the bench with an early foul, and you think, well, that's bad news for Brad Brownell and Clemson. And yet in comes Javen White, seldom used big man, who's scored 7 points once this season, 6 points in another game. The rest, it's been 0s and 2s. Javen White has 6 points already in the early going.
He's a different body than obviously Elijah Thomas. He can score with in their pick and roll game, and his ability to rebound as well.
Nice cut, but Ellison's met at the rim, and another block for the Clemson Tigers. Wilson Frame playing with 2 fouls. Got it with time running out.
What a terrific 3.
Jared Wilson Frame leads this Pitt Panthers team in three-pointers made. That's his 47th on the season.
He's been 41% outside the arc, above his average the last 3 games, so he has been terrific. He had 4 threes against Louisville in the last game.
That was a much-needed bucket for the Pitt Panthers, who went 4.5 minutes without one. Here's Johnny Newman off the mark.
See if you can get Terrell Brown going here. Here he comes in a little screening action.
Now the big man tries a triple. Way off the mark, weak side rebound to Newman. Shelton Mitchell, he's got 2 threes tonight himself. And that's a traveling violation on Clemson.
The Tigers on fire, shooting the triple. Shelton Mitchell outside the arc's got a couple early.
From Clemson, South Carolina, we welcome you back to Super Tuesday, presented by Boost Mobile. You are watching the ACC on ESPN, and the Clemson Tigers are off to a scorching hot start in front of their home crowd. 8 for 11 from the field, including 4 of 5 from beyond the arc. Rich Hollenberg and Deb Antonelli from inside Littlejohn Coliseum. Marquise Reed, one of the top scorers in the ACC, has one of those 4 3-pointers.
6 assists on 8 baskets. It's a very good percentage, moving the basketball, and they've scored off their defense. 10 points off 5 turnovers for Clemson.
Here's Trey McGowan's. Pendleton, South Carolina native, grew up about 15 minutes from the Clemson campus. And a transition bucket. And Shelton Mitchell's off to a hot start offensively.
That would be 12 points off 6 turnovers. What a great decision in transition by Mitchell.
Here's Xavier Johnson, an explosive athlete. And Johnson will go to the line, but it's Johnson's backcourt mate, fellow freshman Trey McGowan's, who's playing with a little extra juice tonight, and you can't blame him. He's got about 50 or more family and friends in attendance, most of them sitting right behind the pit bench. His mom, Pam, his dad, Bobby, both in attendance. They grew up about 15 minutes from the Clemson campus. He visited here, thought about coming to school, but with Shelton Mitchell and Marquise Reed already here and established starters, Bobby, the dad, and Trey, his son, figured, you know what, if I have a chance to start for an ACC team and Jeff Capel's a great head coach, I'm going to take my talents up to Pittsburgh, and that's what he did.
Well, he's having a terrific campaign. He combines with Xavier Johnson to score nearly 31 points a game. They've scored all 3 levels. They're downhill guards. They both can score. They can both handle. They got great chemistry in the backcourt.
Yeah, they're roommates.
That's a couple of good pieces for Jeff Capel.
Absolutely. Great building blocks for the future, and the future is coming soon for the Pitt Panthers. And Reed is on the money again, his second 3 of the night.
I think Elijah Thomas is such a skilled interior guy. You try to turn him into a passer. He's unselfish. He's really good handle for a big guy with just 2 dribbles. I think he's got the 2 dribble goal. But right there, good defense by playing the principle of verticality. Just a great effort offensively.
Yeah, Johnson bulls his way to the basket, and that's something that Pitt likes to do, attack the rim. As a matter of fact, on the season, they have almost as many free throws made, 362, as their opponents have attempted, 367.
Well, that's a big key for them tonight. They've got to get to the free throw line. They haven't been doing that in the last couple of games.
With 5 on the shot clock, another 3 by Shelton Mitchell.
Brad Brownell sort of wondering, who is this kid? Where has he been? Been waiting for Shelton Mitchell to get on fire.
Averaging 11.5 a game. Shelton Mitchell already has 11 tonight.
Great to see all the extra reps you put in are paying off.
Here's McGowan's blocked by Thomas. Another transition opportunity for the Tigers.
So you go 6 turnovers for Pitt. You go 3 offensive charges. You got a block shot. They're just not making good decisions right now in the paint. You got to play the game on balance. If you're going to get there, you got to be able to make a play from the middle of the floor.
Well, Brad Brownell, certainly a disappointing start to this ACC campaign. They've lost 5 of their 6 games. Their only win coming here at home against Georgia Tech. We touched on it earlier, Deb. They had a heartbreaking loss this past Saturday on the road Braxton Beverly nails a buzzer-beating 3 to take down Clemson.
Well, we mentioned Marquise Reed missing free throws at the close of the game. He missed 6 free throws in 5 ACC games this year going into the NC State game, and he missed 5 free throws in the NC State game. And he missed the last 4, which set up the opportunity for Braxton Beverly to hit that triple.
And a timeout called by Clemson with 9 minutes to go. And when you look at Clemson's results, some of them you can understand. Not everybody's going to beat Duke at Duke to start the ACC campaign. Not everyone's going to be able to take down Virginia or win at the Carrier Dome against that 2-3 zone. But this is a team that looks forward from this start and says there are wins out there to be had. It's easy to forget that at the beginning of this season, Deb, a lot of people, a lot of prognosticators had the Clemson Tigers in the top 20.
And deservedly so. They had an incredible run last year with their core group coming back. But you start off the ACC campaign with this sort of schedule, and that just makes you miserable. And you worry about the temperament and the confidence of your team. But Brad Brownell told us today, this morning at 7:30 a.m. shoot-around, that he's not worried about the confidence of his team. He felt like they were in a good place right now.
Well, that's one of the bonuses of having 5 seniors and or grad transfers on your roster. A veteran Clemson team. There's a 2-pointer by City Endear, the backup point guard for Jeff Capel. Now Pitt back in their man-to-man defense. Here's Reed. Contested 3 was short, and they get a foul on Pitt.
And Thomas has a lot to deal with on that roll to the rim. I mean, he is a pick-and-roll guy. He's not going to pop. And that was a switch by Pitt. Tough to box him out inside.
And with 8:19 to go, Clemson's already in the bonus. And Elijah Thomas at the line looking for his first points of the night. And he misses the front end. Thomas had a double-double when these two teams met here last year. 10 points, 11 boards.
Really small lineup on the floor right now for Pitt.
Five to shoot now. Ellison spins in the paint. Almost had a chance at a 3-point play, but instead when we come back from our timeout, Malik Ellison will go to the line and shoot 2.
Shelton Mitchell, they were looking for his jumper. I think they found it tonight. He's been terrific already on his average with 11.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is presented by Boost Mobile. Boost makes it easy to switch. Switching makes it easy to save. And in part by State Farm. Talk to an agent today at 800-STATE-FARM.
Rich Hollenberg, Debbie Antonelli in the home of the college football national champion Clemson Tigers. And of course, it looks tonight like Trevor Lawrence is running the offense for the Clemson basketball team.
Sure does.
32 points scored already. This is a team that's averaging just over 61 a game in ACC play. They're already halfway there, and we have 7:52 to go in the first half. What's been the biggest difference with this Clemson offense?
Well, I think they got off to a great start. They moved the ball really well. When you look at assisted baskets, that's a number that I know Brad Brownell values with his team. And on the other side, Pitt is not doing a good job of moving the ball. They have 1 assist. They're not getting to the free throw line, and they're not making free throws when they get there.
Case in point, Malik Ellison comes up empty. 32-14, Clemson with the lead. They've lost 5 of 6 in ACC play.
So you got to switch.
They're looking sharp tonight. Cross-court pass. Here's Skara with 5 on the shot clock. Mitchell, he's had a hot hand, and that continues. The Southpaw with 14 points and 4 triples tonight.
Jeff Capel staying with that smaller lineup.
City Endear forced it up, got it to go. He has 4.
He's played well off the bench. So you know Pitt is switching in their ball screening action. Here comes Thomas. They're going to get a switch. You could get him the ball on the block.
Mitchell almost had Marquise Reed on the backdoor cut. Here's Reed with the ball. Another 3 ball goes down. This time it's Clyde Trapp getting in the act. Eight 3-pointers in the first half already for the Clemson Tigers. Johnson, circus shot by Xavier Johnson, and he has 9.
Well, see, Thomas doesn't want to commit another foul because he commits another one, he's going to sit. This time they're going to go inside to Thomas. Get him in a ball screen, get the switch, and he'll roll to the rim. Right there.
They can't find him. There's 10 on the shot clock for the Tigers.
Really good ball pressure up top by Pitt.
Here's Mitchell with 3. Tried to get it to Thomas. And a foul is called on Clemson. We've got a college basketball top 15 quintuple header for you Saturday. It all starts at noon Eastern. Number 2 Duke hosting St. John's, and it's capped off at 8 by number 1 Tennessee taking on Texas A&M. All 5 games also live on the ESPN app. And if you remember, that St. John's team upset Duke 1 year ago. And how about number 1 Tennessee?
Yeah,
I mean, do they look every bit like the best team in the country right now?
They are rolling. Grant Williams is in complete command of what they're doing. Their balance is great. Their depth is excellent. Rick Barnes has them playing at a very high level.
It's funny talking to Jeff Capel earlier today. He, of course, played for Duke and played in this building a few different times. And he said it was never easy. 1 year it was Cliff Ellis. The other 3 years it was Rick Barnes.
Yeah. And listen, Rick Barnes hasn't taken Tennessee's never been to the Final Four. It could be a special year for them. They certainly have all the pieces.
Well, Clemson right now getting excellent production out of their veteran backcourt. Marquise Reed has 8, Shelton Mitchell a game-high 14. And that's a big reason why the Tigers are up 40-18 with 4:54 to go.
And there's no reason for Xavier Johnson to commit that foul right there. I mean, Marquise Reed, you want to pressure him, but he was on the sideline. He just gives him a little change of pace, and that's just a veteran play against a young guy that's really aggressive.
So Reed shooting 1 and 1. The normally reliable free throw shooter. He's 3rd, actually 4th in the conference in free throw percentage. But if you asked him, I'm sure the only ones he'll remember are the ones he missed late in the game at Raleigh against NC State on Saturday. 10 now for Reed.
I've been impressed with Reed. He's moved on. Brad Brownell told us he had a good practice afterwards. He got over it. He moved on to the next play, right?
Good hands by Newman with the steal.
I'm telling you, Clemson is really locked in. They are connected on the defensive end. They are doing a terrific job talking.
Hard to believe this was a Tigers team that was 0 for 7 from 3-point range against NC State.
I mean, Elijah Thomas working a little harder now for position off that screen and roll.
A rare miss for the Tigers offense. Johnson got it up. And a foul called on the floor. Well, it's been a frustrating year in many aspects for Brad Brownell. They started 1-5 in ACC play. Last year, when they ultimately made that run to the Sweet 16, they got off to a great start in league play, 4-2. This year, they were picked 6th in the preseason poll, and they haven't really lived up to that. But last year, they were picked 12th in the ACC, or they were 12th in the ACC. They were picked 6th in the preseason poll. And when you think about a couple of those tough losses, those could be really hard to get over. And yet, this is a veteran Clemson team that seems to be able to put things in the rearview mirror.
Yeah, especially with a veteran backcourt, right? I mean, you've got closers on the floor. Guys
Up and under for Xavier Johnson. He'll go to the line. And the young Pitt Panthers trying to claw their way back in this one. They're down big with 3:56 to go. Rich Hollenberg, Deb Antonelli from Littlejohn Coliseum, where the Clemson Tigers have a 42-18 lead over the Pitt Panthers with 3:56 to go in the first half. And you look at the 7 teams from the ACC in the top 25, Deb. Duke won earlier yesterday. Virginia escaped NC State with an overtime win by 1. But the 7 teams are 2 more than any other major conference in the top 25.
It's impressive, the depth, the balance, the competitiveness every night. It's a lot of fun for the fans, that's for sure.
There are no easy outs in the Atlantic Coast Conference. These 2 teams, Pitt and Clemson, know all about that.
I mean, look at the wins that Pitt has had in the ACC. They beat Louisville and they beat Florida State.
And a 10-second call. Clemson early this morning at their shoot-around, Debbie, were practicing their offense against the Pitt pressure. They knew it was coming. They couldn't handle it that time.
Yeah, poor execution by Clemson, but what great energy coming off the timeout by Pitt. Extend their pressure, look to trap. Let's see if they can move the ball a little bit side to side. Their guards are so good at playing downhill that they're looking to get to the rim on early in the shot clock.
Here's the dribble handoff to the local kid, McGowan's. It's Endear with the 3. Off the mark, Scarra the rebound.
That was much better ball movement, though. Good possession, though, for Pitt. Didn't result in a basket, but it resulted in a good shot.
Here's Marquise Reed, 4th in the conference in scoring, and he's been doing a lot of that tonight. A dozen already for Marquise Reed.
He's showing Xavier Johnson a few things tonight on the defensive end as well.
Think about it, a 5th-year player against a freshman.
Again, over-penetrate. Off balance, out of control, trying to make a play with good intention is what Jeff Capel told us today. It's not a selfish play, it's just trying to make something happen and just not making a good choice.
And as much as we're praising the Clemson offense, and rightfully so with 44 points in the first half, their defense has been outstanding. And every coach I talk to says you play defense with your feet. That's exactly what Clemson's doing, drawing 4 charges already tonight.
They get a great look on the backside, the way they're shooting the 3.
And Deere tries for 3 again. Off the mark, same result. Scarra the rebound. Newman got it back and was swallowed up by the Pitt defense, but a fresh 30. Check that didn't hit the rim, so the shot clock continues. There's now 10 left on the clock for Clemson. Trap for 3.
Really nice fill behind the penetration. Marquise Reed gets to the nail, and Trapp fills right behind him for an uncontested triple.
Well, Clyde Trapp is 2 for 3 from the field tonight. He came in 8 for his last 15 in his previous 3. So his hot shooting continues. Jeff Capel exhorting his players to move the basketball. And that foul's going to go on Trapp. Well, Jeff Capel said the key word for him this season is patience. He knows he's going to take it on the chin a lot, especially in this league with a lot of young players, a lot of first-year players. But he is planning on building this program, as he says, brick by brick.
Well, he's got great backcourt play. He needs some bigs. You know, if he could get a big guy, maybe a 6'7", 6'8" wing guy, that would help him a lot. Add some length to what he likes to do.
City Endear, the grad transfer out of New Mexico State, at the line, shooting 1-1. And he's off the mark on the front end.
Pitt's just not shooting the ball well at all.
And they're not getting to the line nearly as much as they did in the early part of the season.
You know, when you struggle to score, you've got to find easy scoring. It's got to be free throws, baseline out of bounds, sideline out of bounds, after timeouts, all those dead ball situations where you can really execute with a young team.
5 to shoot. Skara from the corner. Malik Ellison whistled for that foul, so Clemson will be shooting free throws again. This time, 2. They're in the double bonus with 1:08 to go.
I think they got to take a look at hook and hold.
So we're going to have an official review. That's Brian Dorsey on the left, Tony Henderson next to him. And if they're looking at a hook and hold, it's something that we've been hearing about a lot this season.
They're trying to remove the play. If there's player safety involved, they can take a common foul and they can upgrade it to an F1 if they feel like there was a dangerous play.
If you look to the left of the rim,
he told.
That's the call in question on Malik Ellison.
I think they're going to upgrade it to an F1. Right there, you see the hook and hold.
It's hard to see much of a hook, but it does look like from the replay that he was holding his arm.
So they're not going to upgrade it. They're going to keep it at
they call it a common foul, and you're going to have Amir Sims going to the line and shooting too.
75% of the time they come away with an F1.
Amir Sims shooting 2.
Our women's Thursday night showcase this week has number 2 UConn in Louisville to take on the number 3 Cardinals, 7 p.m. Eastern on ESPN. And if you don't follow women's college basketball very closely, you might be wondering, how come UConn's not number 1 in the country?
Well, Notre Dame's number 1, but that might change after their loss this week. They had an upset, but that is a game that you want to see. You want to talk about watching offense? You're going to see some of the best offensive players in the women's game playing in that. Asia Durr for Louisville, Katie Lou Samuelson, and Nafisa Collier for UConn.
Here's a big 3 from Jared Wilson-Frame, the second one of the night for him. He's got 6.
Got a chance for a 2 for 1 here.
15-second differential between the shot clock and the game clock. Instead, there's a foul on the floor with 39.5 to go in the half.
And that's where the IQ of Marquise Reed comes in. He took a peek coming across midcourt. He had an idea of how much time was on the clock. Saw an angle to the rim.
Reed has 12 already, make that 13, and Clemson, with 50 points in the first half, has their highest scoring first half of the season.
Between Shelton Mitchell and Marquise Reed, they have played really well. They've scored the basketball. They've defended at a high level. Very competitive first half for Clemson.
And they've combined for 28 points. And that was a little bit of a silly foul from Reed on the other end. So now Pitt's going to be shooting 1-1 with 33 seconds to go in the half. City Endear will be at the line. Most experienced player on Jeff Capel's team, City Endear, a graduate transfer from New Mexico State. Went to 2 NCAA tournaments with New Mexico State and their head coach, Chris Jans. And he misses the front end of the 1-1 for the second time tonight.
How many front ends of the 1-1 has Pitt missed this first half? I mean, I think 3.
So a 3-second differential between the shot clock and the game clock. Clemson with a big lead, content to take some of the air out of the ball. Here comes a high pick from Sims. Reed calls his own number, off the mark. And a heave by Jared Wilson Frame goes off the backboard, and we go to halftime with the Clemson Tigers in command, 51-23 over the Pitt Panthers. Shelton Mitchell tied with game-high honors with 14 points on the strength of 4 3-pointers. So it's Clemson 51, Pitt 23 at the break. We'll be back shortly with our halftime report after these messages. Welcome back to Super Tuesday, presented by Boost Mobile. You're watching the ACC on ESPN. Clemson blitzing Pittsburgh in the first half, 51-23, and Marquise Reed in a big-time bounce-back game for him.
What an incredible job he's done in moving the basketball, reading the defense, taking what has been given to him on the defense by doing a good job of reading. He's really the triple threat, Rich, because he can knock down triples. He's got an incredible mid-range game. He's got a change of pace. He's got shiftiness with his ball handling ability, and he's got high IQ in terms of reading the defense.
He had some good numbers in that NC State game on the road on Saturday, but it was the 4 missed free throws by by Marquise Reed that really hurt, and he was despondent after that game, and he has bounced back in a big way. Good start for Pitt with a 3 from Wilson Frame. He has 9.
Clemson starts in a zone, and that's the guy you got to find. He's the best three-point shooter for Pitt.
And is it too early to say? I know we just started the second half, but when you're down 20-plus points, is it too early to say they need threes now to get back in this game?
Well, I think they got to, you want to get to the 10-minute mark and see if you can cut it in half. I think that would be a legitimate goal. But you got to stop fouling. Pitt fouled too much in the first half. It got him in some foul trouble, putting Clemson to the line. That's
Trey McGowan's 3rd foul of the game. And you look at the shooting, lights out for the Tigers. 67% overall, 9 for 15 from three-point range. And that really has been the story of the game. That and the fact that Clemson's been able to convert the Pitt turnovers into points.
And that they moved the ball really well. So they're connected on the defensive end. They drew 4 charges in the first half. They turned Pitt over. Pretty well played first half on the offensive end as well.
5 to shoot for Clemson. Reed 2 and White with the ball. And he lost it. McGowan's almost got the steal. It's a shot clock violation. Trey McGowan's number 1 in the ACC in the steals department with over 2 a game.
Let's see if on the offensive end, if Elijah Thomas can get going for Clemson. And Jeff Capel starts this small lineup again for Pitt, going with mostly guards on the floor.
Xavier Johnson met at the rim by Sims. Johnson gets it back and puts it up and in. And that's one of the specialties of the freshman out of Woodbridge, Virginia. Tremendous ability to get to the tin and tremendous strength to get the ball up and in.
There's a great backdoor opportunity coming right here for Clemson based on the way Pitt is defending.
Here's Amir Sims on the block. It rolls off. And Elijah Thomas follows with the stick back, his first points of the night.
Switch sides of the floor. They get a good penetration shot or pass to the post, and a good offensive rebound on the weak side.
Well, the bulk of the scoring for the Clemson Tigers done by their backcourt, Reed and Mitchell, both with 14. Strange to see Elijah Thomas with no points in the first half. This is a young man who has 5 double-doubles on the season. If they get him going, look out. There's McGowan's met at the rim by Thomas, who took a shot to the bridge in the nose.
Really good play by Elijah Thomas. Met right at the rim.
There's the freshman Johnson. Dials it up from 3 and hits. Xavier Johnson has 16. That's on his scoring average.
He gets the switch, and he does a nice job of reading. Thomas coming out to try to close out late.
Well, Pitt off to a good start in the second stanza, and an 8-2 start to this second half. Sims, baseline. Good hands by Wilson Frame, knocking it out of bounds on the hammer pass. 11 on the shot clock. You talked about out of bounds plays. This would be one of them.
Baseline out of bounds. Clemson spent some time this morning working on these. Both these coaches went through a lot of situations with their teams.
Thomas couldn't handle the pass from Mitchell. Here's Ellison in transition. Can't get it to go from close range. Reed to Thomas. Well, Elijah Thomas is second in the ACC in field goal percentage, shooting 64% from the field. You saw example A of why that is. And Xavier Johnson will go to the line and shoot too. He's starting to feel it.
Watch the Mitchell gets the ball up to Reed, and as soon as Reed catches, he looks right to the middle, always trying to get to the nail. Easy leave off for Thomas.
But it's the Pitt Panthers who are out hot to start the second half, led by Xavier Johnson. He already has 6 points in the second half. 17 on the game, averaging 16.2 coming in. And he's also second in the conference in free throw percentage. He's perfect tonight from the line, 6 for 6.
So this small lineup for Jeff Capel allows him to really bring some great ball pressure.
Skara all alone. And the three ball doesn't drop. The rebound to Brown. McGowan's blocked.
They're trying to isolate McGowan's on Thomas. Great defensive play by Thomas again. Now you got to post up strong if you're Thomas.
Reed, top of the key. That's a two-pointer from Marquise Reed, but that gives him 16 on the night.
Marquise Reed is one of the better playmaking guards in the ACC and doesn't get enough credit for it on the national stage.
He's got 8 20-plus point games this season. He looks like he's well on his way to his ninth.
I mean, he can make every shot. He's unselfish.
It's been a frustrating night for the Pendleton, South Carolina native in Trey McGowan's. A turnover there. It'll be Clemson ball with a 57-33 lead. Well, that's Pam McGowan's on the left in the gray Pitt sweatshirt, and Trey McGowan's father, Bobby, is on the right with the navy blue Pitt vest. They are here because they live about 15 minutes away in Pendleton, South Carolina. Trey McGowan's a local kid, very highly recruited, but a frustrating night so far. Before the whistle, he turned the ball over. He's only 1 for 6 from the field. What are the pitfalls of playing in front of so many friends and family like Trey is tonight?
Distracted, not focused, worrying about your family, not thinking about the team. I think those things happen to a lot of young guys when they come on the road or first time they get to play in a college uniform in front of their family and friends.
Those frowns that you saw from Pam and Bobby will be mitigated by a lot of smiles in Trey McGowan's college career. You can bet on that. Sims for 3.
10 threes for Clemson. Out of the zone, too, against Pitt.
They talk about water finding its level, Deb. They were 0 for 7 from 3 against the Wolfpack on Saturday. 10 triples tonight already. And maybe the only bit of bad news for Clemson, number 2 in white, Marquise Reed, their leading scorer, has to go to the bench with 3 fouls. Xavier Johnson That one from close range goes off the rim. Stolen away. Here comes Clemson.
Well, Brad Brownell can start thinking about maybe resting a couple of guys here and giving them a few less minutes.
Skip pass is picked off by Cam Davis. Here's Wilson Frame from the corner. Short on the three, the weak side rebound to Sims. A 27-point cushion for the Clemson Tigers. 29 has been their largest lead tonight. And a whistle in the middle of the floor as Xavier Johnson and Elijah Thomas go down. Well, this is what the three-point attempts have looked like so far this season. Nothing really all that pretty. They shot it well against Georgia Tech, and wouldn't you know it, Deb, that was the one game they won in ACC play.
I was here for that game. Clemson played both sides of the floor very well. The NC State game, they just could not find any rhythm outside the arc. Credit NC State's defense. But Xavier Johnson picks up his fourth foul in that last exchange, and the small lineup, I think for the most part, Jeff Capel has done a really good job of good ball pressure, not allowing Clemson to get Elijah Thomas going.
And now that's the third foul on number 3, Malik Ellison, the son of Never Nervous Purvis. There you see Xavier Johnson on the bench. And foul trouble even more of an issue for Jeff Capel tonight because he's without Audice Toney, one of his usual starters, the freshman, injuring his right hand on Sunday in practice. X-rays were negative. He's day-to-day.
Oh, beautiful slip to the bucket by Sims. They missed him.
Trap. Off the mark on that three. Here comes McGowan's with the rebound.
The problem with making 10 threes is everybody thinks they can make threes now, and Clyde Trapp did hit one before, but one more movement of the ball would have been a better opportunity for Clemson.
McGowan's off the mark. The frustrating night continues, but no quit in these Panthers. They go up strong and draw the Clemson foul. So they're going to count that as a goaltend, and it'll be Clemson ball. And that foul is going to go on McGowan's. So now Xavier Johnson with 4 fouls, and his backcourt mate McGowan matches him with 4.
That's a foul. One more, and that's the bonus.
And we're not even 7 minutes into the second half.
Look for zone a lot of the rest of the way here for Pitt.
Mitchell still hasn't scored in the second half after 14 in the first. Ellison lost it out of bounds. It'll be Clemson basketball. Another Pitt turnover.
And you know, the other thing for Trey McGowan's playing at home in front of his family and friends, he's probably pressing, right? He wants to do a good job, and he's a young guy. He's had a good start to his career in college for Jeff Capel. Just can't get into any sort of rhythm, and there's been a lot of fouls for Pitt, which has not helped their rhythm either.
Clemson's led throughout. They have a 25-point lead coming up on 12 minutes to go. Skara around and out. And an offensive foul on the Tigers. We're going the other way. And now seldom used Samson George is going to check in the game for Jeff Capel, number 24 for the Panthers. Well, we mentioned there are wins out there on the remaining ACC schedule, not just for the Clemson Tigers, Deb, but also for the Pitt Panthers. They're going to be home against Syracuse next. They go on the road to play Wake Forest. They've got a game at Boston College. They've got Georgia Tech on the road. There are no easy outs in the ACC, but there are still some wins out there to be had.
There's no question. I mean, you're in the first year. Look, Jeff Capel's not a guy that's going to be happy with moral victories. You're going to have to, with a young team, you're just going to have to grow up. And you can't grow up fast in the ACC. It's impossible to do so.
Clemson Tigers have led by as many as 29. They're up 25 right now. And a big reason is they're 10 for 20 from three-point range. And Debbie Antonelli, that is a huge difference from the first 6 conference games they played.
I mean, Rich, come on. I mean, the way they can score on the low block, the way their mid-range game is with Marquise Reed, they start shooting the triple like that, that makes them really dangerous on the offensive end. Because we know Brad Brownell's teams are going to scheme on the defensive end.
Everything has gone the Clemson Tigers' way tonight. Foul trouble up and down the roster for the Pitt Panthers. They're playing without one of their starters in Audice Toney, who injured his right hand before the game.
And playing without any size the latter stages of the first half into the second. That's how badly Jeff Capel is in need of a big guy to help his program out. If you're a big guy and you can play, you're going to have great guard play around you. And that's a good look at Toney right there, who's not available today or tonight because of that hand injury that he suffered on Sunday in practice.
And with the timeout on the floor and 11:09 to go, we'll take a timeout too. Step aside. Come right back to Littlejohn. Clemson fans are happy. Apparently ESPN fans are happy too. And full disclosure, if you're watching tonight, that is famous Frankie Antonelli in the crowd. Part of the Clemson student body here, loving the college hoops and certainly loving that Mom is in town to call the game tonight.
Oh, had a great 2 days hanging out with Frankie and his Clemson Life friends, including his buddy Sam, who's sitting there with him. They're having a blast up there, aren't they?
I will say this, all we need is a tuxedo, and then we get Frankie singing some Frank Sinatra,
oh, yeah.
And then it's a really good night.
He can do the whole set for you, Rich.
Talk about a university that is celebrating a national championship. Dabo Sweeney and company, very inspirational. You won't find many more inspirational young men than the man we just showed you in the ESPN t-shirt.
Thank you, that's kind. He's living the dream here at Clemson, I'll tell you that.
We've talked about him so much through the years. Tonight was the first night I actually got to meet him in person, and the first thing he says to me is, "Get me on TV."
That's why he wore his ESPN shirt. He was counting on you.
There's Samson George with the stick back. An 8-0 Pitt Panthers run cuts the deficit to 19 for the Clemson Tigers. Well, ESPN and the ACC will bring in the ACC Network in August. 15 universities, one network. Get ACCN.com to learn more. And we just mentioned moments ago, Dabo and the boys who brought a national championship back to Clemson. Well, their opening game will be on the ACC Network, Deb. That's August 29th. It's going to be on a Thursday. They're hosting Georgia Tech. So think about it, Clemson fans. If you're watching right now and you're saying, the next time I'm going to see my team after they celebrate the national championship is going to be on TV, if you can't make it to the game, you need the ACC network to watch that game.
It's fantastic. So excited about the launch in August. It's going to be great. At the same time, on the basketball side, the ACC is going to 20 conference games, which is going to be really interesting in terms of scheduling. Great for the fans of college basketball in the ACC.
But if you follow college hoops, this is something the Big Ten did a couple years ago, and it's going to be very strange to get used to. There's going to be conference games played very early in the season. We're talking early November for the first couple of conference games.
Way ahead of Christmas, right? Usually when you're playing conference games ahead of Christmas is unusual. Ever since the mounting foul trouble for Jeff Capel's team, we've seen them play a lot of zone.
Suddenly the Clemson offense has stalled. 2 on the shot clock. Clyde Trapp heaves it and gets it off the glass.
They're going to have to take a look at that.
Well, if it counts, that'll be the 11th 3 of the night for the Clemson Tigers, but the officials are going to look to make sure it beat the shot clock.
I'm not really sure Clyde Trapp had any idea until right then when he took a glance at the far end shot clock.
Looks to me like there's no discussion. It does go down for Clyde Trapp. His 3rd 3 of the night gives him 11. And that ties a season high for this Clemson Tigers team. 11 made triples tonight. There's a strong take to the hole again. That's City Endear.
Yeah, City Endear has played really well off the bench for Jeff Capel's team. Very aggressive at attacking. No charges drawn this second half by Pitt. They've been doing a much better job of their penetration, staying on balance.
George called for the foul along the baseline. Check that the ball went out of bounds. No foul on the play, so Clemson will inbounds under their own basket. Scarra trapped in the corner. And a timeout called with Clemson in trouble. So 2 timeouts remaining for Brad Brownell, 1 remaining for Jeff Capel and the Pitt Panthers. And we haven't seen that much from David Scarra on the offensive end, only 4 points, but he really makes his hay on the defensive side of things.
I think he's one of the most versatile defenders in the league because he can guard multiple guys, point guards all the way through post. Look at some of the better scorers in the ACC, and when he was matched up on them, this is what they did from the floor. So that's a pretty good stat line right there for David Scarra in terms of the way they scheme, their ball screen defense and how they can change it, and how his IQ on the defensive end and his ability to communicate with his size and his length and his ability to move his feet have allowed him to have those kind of defensive numbers.
And you talk to Brad Brownell, who is one of the better defensive coaches in the country, and he said when it's all said and done, he thinks David Scarra should get some recognition at the end of the season on the ACC All-Defensive team.
Well, I agree with him because it's not all about who blocks shots and who rebounds. It's a guy like that you can change and scheme and do a lot of different things because you've got a veteran team, but you got the versatility of Scarra.
The Croatian sensation. He was thinking about leaving school after last year and going playing in his home country of Croatia professionally, but then decided in August to come back for 1 more year with Brad Brownell and company. Here's Thomas in the post. Too strong. McGowan's trying to push the tempo. And Trey McGowan's thought about trying to dunk that basketball, and instead it goes off his hands, and it has been a frustrating night for Trey McGowan's, who just about ripped off his jersey just now in frustration.
You know, but I love the way the guys pulled him into the circle right here and tried to connect him, right? Get him inside the circle, tell him to move on to the next play. It's part of maturing, and it's tough in the ACC.
Well, you just saw a shot of his dad, Bobby. He started his college career here at Clemson, transferred to South Carolina State, played football and basketball at South Carolina State.
Watch how he's tugging on his jersey. They're pulling, and this is the experience of Jared Wilson Frame, pulling everybody in. And come on, guys, just stay connected right here.
That's a team. And it's a team that's going to have to be reckoned with in coming seasons in the ACC. Keep in mind coming in, Deb, this is a Pitt team that last year went 0 for 18 in league play, and they're currently riding a 15-game road losing streak in conference play.
But with all these new players and new personnel, they're not thinking about any of that, Rich. You know what? They're just trying to get better on the next possession. That's what Jeff Capel's coaching right now. That's why when he pulled Trey McGowan's over to the floor, over to sit down, he said, move on. You got to let it go. You're going to have to learn in this league. You're going to make mistakes. This league is tough.
Xavier Johnson has 20 for the Panthers, who are still fighting in Clemson. No quitting the Pitt Panthers. They've outscored Clemson 23-12 in the second half, but still trail 63-46. We're about a third of the way through the ACC slate so far, Deb Antonelli. Let's take a look at the ACC standings. Duke and UVA stand as the only two teams at 7-1, but Louisville's been hot. North Carolina looks like they're hitting their stride. Nasir Little is playing excellent. What do you see from the ACC standings right now?
Well, I think Chris Mack has done a wonderful job with this team. They only lost to Pitt on the road, right? We know Roy Williams' teams always get better as you get closer to March. I think Buzz Williams has done a fantastic job with his club. I love the speed at which they play with and the pace that they play with. And there's a lot of different styles, a lot of different schemes you have to prepare for in the ACC, but there's outstanding guard play in this league, which will really help them in March.
It's funny, I was thinking the same thing. I mean, every night it's a different scheme that you have to come up with to try to defend teams.
I mean, even Brad Brownell against NC State, they were downing or icing ball screens and allowed NC State to snake behind the ball screens with Elijah Thomas more of a gap than trying to get, a high hedge. And they just changed what they do. They're constantly looking at personnel, and the analytics today have allowed the coaches to be able to make lots of adjustments like that.
Shelton Mitchell on the floor but scoreless. Marquise Reed only has 2 points.
And I got to tell you, I really like the small lineup for Jeff Capel on the floor. The way they can run and press and trap, they can change the tempo as they develop as a program underneath his leadership, and they get some bigs with some length that can play on the inside. This is going to be something that they can go to and know that they can get great ball pressure out of this lineup.
Well, Reed, one of the better rebounding guards in the ACC, grabbed that rebound, got fouled, so he's at the line shooting 1-1. 82% on the season. He's a perfect 5 for 5 tonight from the stripe. Just 2 games this year, Marquise Reed has shot below 70% from the free throw stripe. He's got 18 tonight to lead all scorers. Johnson, travel.
White met him at the outside the lane.
That's 12 turnovers for a Pitt team that averages 14.5 turnovers a game.
And Xavier Johnson and Trey McGowan's both turn the ball over more than they have assists, right, on the season. So they're highly skilled, very athletic, yet they're learning how to play with pace and making decisions at a really fast rate, because the teams in this league are speeding them up to try to make them make decisions quickly.
So Javen White, 6 points in the first half, steps to the line, looking for his first point of the second half. He knocks that one down.
And this game was a 22-5 run to start the game behind the three-point shooting of Clemson and their ability to turn Pitt over. And really, Pitt hasn't been able to really dig any deeper or closer. They have played better here in the second half.
The lead stands at 21. Davis, a strong take, and Cameron Davis will go to the line and shoot two.
And see, that's one of the things that Jeff Capel told us today at shoot-around. We don't want to always have to go downhill on the first possession or first opportunity that we have. We need to reverse the basketball and then look to penetrate. That was a great possession for them to take a look at film to illustrate exactly what he's talking about.
Well, this coaching staff really likes Cameron Davis's energy that he brings. He's a good defender, so that's always going to get you playing time in a Jeff Capel team. And he's only a sophomore out of Denver, Colorado, so he's going to be a key piece in the next couple of years going forward.
Well, he's a guy that on the scouting report he's made 9 threes and 5 twos, so it's very telling on how to guard him. That was great that he got to the free throw line.
Reed for 3, and he's over 20 for the 9th time this season. 21 for Marquise Reed. And Xavier Johnson answers.
Turnover.
Wilson frame, short on the 3.
If that's the right guy taking that 3, though, for Pitt.
Under 6 minutes to go. Clemson's led from the opening tip. Nice pass from big to big. And Javen White has 9 points.
Really nice job by Skara getting that playmaking position right around the logo inside that zone.
That's a season-high 9 for White.
Foul is called on Clyde Trapp. That's his 3rd.
That foul's going to go on Clyde Trapp, his 3rd. And Pitt's at the line shooting 1 and 1.
Xavier Johnson shooting 1 and 1.
Well, Xavier Johnson has shown the ability to score. He had 21 against Louisville, 25 against NC State. He's had 22 tonight. And make it 23. Sports Center tonight after Kentucky Vanderbilt with John Anderson and Michael Eaves. They'll have an inside look at James Harden's historic run with the Rockets, who are hosting the Pelicans, plus all the highlights from college hoops top games and the latest from the Pats and the Rams as they prepare for Super Bowl 53. That's Sports Center tonight at 11 Eastern. And how about Anthony Davis declaring that he wants to be traded?
What an interesting storyline to follow, right?
Yeah, sitting out tonight for the Pelicans. Don't know if he'll ever play another game for the Pelicans. Well, Clyde Trapp has a new career high with 15. Offensive rebound, nice putback by Ellison. What a night from beyond the arc for the Clemson Tigers. Clyde Trapp, 4 3-pointers. Marquise Reed has 3. Shelton Mitchell has 4. 12 in all for the Tigers. That's a season high. Trapp. And a fresh 30 because of the White rebound. And another 3. Marquise Reed has his 4th of the night. He has 24.
I would say he's bounced back in a nice way off the NC State game and is playing with a lot of confidence. This league is unforgiving, right? You have to move on.
McGowan's knocks down a 3.
There you go, Trey McGowan. You got a chance to sit on the bench, get collected. Good job by Jeff Capel, coaching up his young guy on the bench.
Well, the Tigers shooting 14 for 26 from beyond the arc. You cannot expect that every night. But if they come even close to that, Debbie, they could be a handful in the ACC.
I'm telling you, they're balanced offensively. They're building some depth. Brad Brownell has done a good job of bringing Clyde Trapp along. I still think John Newman is going to be a player that's going to factor in for them. And really playing a good portion of this game without Elijah Thomas being a factor on the inside.
Yeah, Thomas only 4 points tonight. City Endier looked good off his hand. It goes out. And White has another rebound. And we've got a foul on the floor, 3:10 to go. We'll step aside with Clemson comfortably ahead on Pitt.
PN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is presented by Boost Mobile. Boost makes it easy to switch. Switching makes it easy to save.
Alongside Debbie Antonelli, I'm Rich Hollenberg from Littlejohn Coliseum. We talked about the tough schedule in the early going of the ACC slate for the Clemson Tigers. Things get a little bit more manageable, especially after this game. Looks like they'll get a win. They have another home game against Wake Forest, but then 3 of their next 4 are on the road.
It doesn't get any easier, right? There's nothing you can circle in the ACC and go, okay, that's going to be an easy one, or I can rest some players. You're going to have to play, and Clemson has done that very well tonight. So if they can take what they've done tonight and turn it into some road opportunities, right, then they'll have a better chance to get another W. But I've been impressed with their great balance and their efficiency. I mean, they're 14 for 26 from the three-point line. Brad Brownell's team is 12 for 18 from 2. That is highly efficient. 17 assists on 26 made baskets. They're moving the ball. Actually, I don't know what he'll look at the stat sheet and not like tonight about the way his team has played.
I think it's safe to say this could be the most complete game that you've seen the Clemson Tigers play all year.
Hunter Tyson gets a big defensive play. He's known as a shooter, and he got up a lot of shots before the game. Let's see if he can get open for a 3.
This crowd would love it if he does. There's a lob to White. And Javen White misses the N1 opportunity, but he'll go to the line and shoot a pair. That's the 4th foul on Samson George to add to the foul woes of the Pitt Panthers.
And Javen White got some really early minutes in this game because Elijah Thomas picked up a quick foul on a ball screen defense on a hedge. And Brad Brownell was quick to put him on the bench and bring White in the game, and he's been very effective.
Well, here's what's interesting about White. You look at his numbers, 9 points, 7 rebounds. He's coming close to a double-double, which is what we're used to saying about Elijah Thomas.
And he hasn't missed a shot from the floor. It's 4 for 4. I think maybe 3 of those have been dunks.
That 3 ball off the mark from Davis. Pitt's got it back. It goes out of bounds. It'll stay Panthers basketball. 2:28 to go. Panthers staring at their 16th straight road ACC loss. They lost all 9 road games a year ago. Their last win on the road in ACC play was all the way back on February 8th of 2017, nearly 2 full calendar years. That was at Boston College. And something tells me from seeing this team up close a couple times this season, Deb, they will not go winless on the road in the ACC this year.
No, there's no way. And their guard play is too good. And this is going to be a great lesson for them. They went against experienced guards tonight. They got a little bit out of control early, played sped up, and they're going to have to learn how to play the game at different paces.
That was a nice look from Xavier Johnson to Samson George, who goes to the line and shoots 2. To Jeff Capel's left, and you're right on the screen. You just saw the assistant coach in glasses. That's Milan Brown, who's been like a de facto Capel brother through the years. He's a former head coach. Then you look at Jason Capel on the left. Next to him is Tim O'Toole. This is the only program, Deb, that has 3 assistant coaches who have head coaching experience.
Well, I know Milan from his time at College of Charleston. Of course, Jason and I have worked some camps and clinics together. So I know how hard these guys work and how capable they are.
There's a turnover by Reed in the backcourt. Easy 2 for Xavier Johnson. And he is on his career high of 25. And that's the 4th foul on Reed. Well, Marquise Reed leads all scorers with 26. What a bounce back it was for him tonight.
And you know, Brad Brownell told us about Marquise Reed that it doesn't matter, his demeanor never changes. He's so mild and even on that play right there, he doesn't change his expression. Said Marquise could play under the bright lights or he could play at the YMCA and his demeanor would never change.
Now Xavier Johnson has taken over game high honors with 28 points. That's a career high for the freshman. And a 10-second call. Well, Marquise Reed, heartbroken after missing 4 free throws against NC State when Braxton Beverly hit that game-winning buzzer beater. He has bounced back in a huge way tonight to lead the Clemson Tigers with 26. Davis for 3, and Hunter Tyson fouls him on the 3-ball attempt. The Cardinals sin from the freshman out of Monroe, North Carolina.
Brad Brownell is not happy. He's using this as a teaching moment right here. He's calling timeout.
Well, the Clemson Tigers are last in the ACC coming in three-point percentage, 30% from the field. Nothing could be farther from the truth tonight, though.
It was an incredible display of triples. Reed, Mitchell, and Trapp all with 4 threes. Amir Sims even had a couple of threes. There was great balance. They moved the ball. They were uncontested. They were the right time, except for this one, which was just off the glass at the end of the shot clock. All the other threes came within the rhythm and flow of their offense.
And you look at some of these games that they've had where they've struggled so mightily from beyond the arc. Listen, we're not saying this team is as good as, let's say, Virginia Tech at shooting the 3-ball. That's an elite 3-point shooting team. Ahmed Hill is dynamite, Justin Robinson, the list goes on and on. There are some teams, even Virginia shoots the 3-ball extremely well with Kyle Guy. But with Marquise Reed and Shelton Mitchell and a couple other guys on this Clemson team, if they could just find that average where they have some kind of regression to the mean and could shoot it at a 35% clip instead of a 30% clip, you're looking at a completely different team the second half of this season.
Well, it changes everything about the way you move the ball and how you establish Elijah Thomas inside, so it changes the space. And so Shelton Mitchell, what a great game he had. He was terrific in the first half for Clemson. I mean, isn't the 3 where it's at in college basketball? I mean, you got to shoot the 3 well. Because you match what the other team's doing.
I've noticed that more and more, Deb, and honestly, I've said this on the air, that I think some teams are a little bit delusional, where they think they're a good shooting team that's not shooting well at that time. But over the long stretch, I think the identity of your team bears itself out on the floor. And you have to find other ways to score.
All coaches want balance.
Newman, he can get in the 3-point shooting act. And here comes Pitt, under a minute to go. Well, the Pitt Panthers will head home and get ready to face the Syracuse Orange in that 2-3 zone, and that's not going to be a day in the park with a team that doesn't really shoot it all that well from 3 in their own right, having to face that 2-3.
I watched that game, Pitt and Syracuse, yesterday, and they really struggled against the length at the top of that 2-3 for Jim Boeheim's team.
Johnson in the paint, and that'll cap a 30-point night for Xavier Johnson. If you're looking for silver linings, Pitt Panther fans, you got one in Xavier Johnson for sure. Well, the clock runs out. Clemson led it wire to wire, 82-69 your final over the Pitt Panthers. Final thoughts on tonight's game, Deb?
What a great start for Clemson. They really put the hammer down early on. I thought their balance offensively was terrific. They were connected on the defensive end, and they come away with a huge win at home over Pitt.
Well, that'll do it for us. Once again, your final score, Clemson 82, Pitt 69. Coming up next, a replay between Kansas and Texas. For Debbie Antonelli, producer Andy Bach, director Eric Swearingen, and our entire crew, I'm Rich Hollenberg saying so long from Clemson.